Well, Jeff, there's a chance I'm going to be done with Hearthstone.
What?
But hello, Magic the Gathering.
That is no okay.
The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
So a bit more about those gaming things in a bit, but I did have a question for you, and it's something myself that I've just started to kind of come to terms with in some ways where, well, I guess I'd like to first pose it as a question. Did you find it easier to bond with your second kid compared to your first kid?
I would say no. I found it harder.
Oh.
I found it easier to parent, but bonding was different, and that might just be my son's personality. He doesn't have anything that he truly loves, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know, my older one, he likes to build, which I could, build Lego with him. He likes video games, which I can play games with him. He likes math and engineering, which I can kind of help him out with. And my second son just kind of goes along with everything. So it's not like I don't feel like I'm bonding individually with him, if that kind of makes sense. So, I would say it's harder for me, and I'm still trying to navigate it. I don't know what he really likes, and his birthdays and Christmas is always a struggle because he just goes along with the older brother. So I don't know. I find it harder. What about you though? Is it the same, or is it you finding it different?
Well, it's just so it's kind of I'm almost surprised a bit. I almost thought it'd be something a bit more universal. So I find that interesting. Myself has been very different. So the second kid has felt so much easier to bond with. Like I feel so much closer with him, so much faster in our relationship. And I wasn't sure the factors of it because, if I look back, there was obviously it's a first kid, so your world is just torn apart.
Right.
Everything you know and love is just
obliterated. I get it.
Ripped to shreds, put into a pile, set on fire. That pile is then shot into the sun.
Yep.
And then you play a memory of it, but then that memory is also torn up and then set on fire.
Wow, you really painted that picture.
But so I felt that's a transition, and I figured, that's for parents, that's always a big transition. 0 to 1 is huge. And I've always thought that 1 to 2 is much more like it's another half step. It's still difficult. It's new challenges, but your life is already kind of over. So it's kind of, you're going along with already.
Yeah.
So I thought that was the case. I also looked back, and we obviously had the terrible difficulties with the postpartum depression, which produced a lot of stress for us. Of course, career-wise at that time, it was incredibly stressful for me. So I think I had a lot of that coming home, affecting it as well. So all those things together, this new guy comes along. I'm used to being a dad. So I'm able to go through the motions. I know what to expect. Things had kind of settled down stress-wise. We're already into the flow of things as far as parents. So all that together just left more time to be with him and just be with him, to understand, to be like the dad and bond. So I just found that like I feel so much closer to him earlier than I did with my first son.
Right.
It's not like I'm not close to the first one, to be clear. It's
no.
It's like, if anything now, like I feel so close to my first one, but it's taken a time to really enjoy it and be a part of it. And now with this first one, I've gotten there so much faster. I do wonder if we will experience the same thing, because it almost sounds like you're talking a bit more about personalities.
Yeah, I think so. I think that has a huge part with it, right? Like if, again, it's something that he's not his own, he definitely has his own little personality, but he doesn't have his own likes. He kind of just goes along with whatever has already been said. So, his favorite animal just happened to be a shark, which my older son's favorite animal is a shark. So it's like, it's that stuff where
it's like you're asking him and he just looks, it's like, what's your favorite animal? He looks around the room.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like he'll tell you, he's like, well, what's your favorite animal? And then he'll try to agree with you. I'm like, no. Let's get you, like, let's make you an individual. Let's make you different than everybody else here. So
I will say that's about I would say that puts you in a good dad camp, in the sense that it'd be fairly easy to just accept it. Like, all right, this kid doesn't really like anything, so I can do what I want. But you're looking for, it's like, you want him to be him, and you want him to have a good time. So
yeah,
I'll put that as a vote of you being a decent dad.
Perfect. I'll take that vote. I like it.
When he's listening in future to this, it'll be, that's Trevor's seals of approval. Look at this. He did it.
That's my motivational episode.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I would be interested to see if I feel that same thing as they start getting into the 5 and 8 and 9 and 10 range,
Yeah.
Because I suppose, like, there's the first bond. I suppose there's waves, and I guess this is something we'll start to learn. But they enter your life, and you're starting to get accustomed to them being there as babies. You're like, oh, you're here for forever. You're my baby. And they become toddlers, and they start to have little personalities, and they're cute and adorable, and that's so much fun.
Yeah, then, I do find that there is a little bit more effort on your part to pay attention to the second one, just because you've been through all the new stuff with the first one, and the second go around isn't so new, so you have to kind of, like, I don't know, just make that extra effort to be surprised for certain milestones that they do, and like it'll come with ages again, like you are still in the young phase, but even things that they do at school or at daycare that, you have to show the same enthusiasm because you've kind of already been through it. So you're like, yeah. Your brother did that when he was like 2. So come on. What are you doing? Come on.
No, it's your handprint made into a turkey. Ooh.
Wow.
Real impressive.
I have never seen this in my life. This is amazing. I'm going to hang it up.
How about you try to be an original? Come on.
Yeah, nothing like that. Again, it's just extra effort just to kind of push them, right? So.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to monitor. It's just as I was holding them the other day, it was just a realization. I was kind of curious to hear it. And yeah, I find that surprising, honestly, that I thought it was almost universal in some ways, where it's by the time you get to the second, you know what you're doing. So it's more direct as far as bonding, but looks like it's a little different and changing.
Right. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is it doesn't get easier. God damn.
No. Yep, that's the message. Nope, does not.
So the second thing I wanted to pitch to you, now switching over to the gaming side of things, was I was curious if you've ever been deep into a game or just thoroughly enjoyed a game online or perhaps offline, but this is more pertinent to online games. And have you been a part of it as you've noticed its shift away? Like it starts to die, it starts to not become popular. Have you been in the midst of it as it slowly declined?
I've more joined something when it's on the decline.
It's dying, and Jeff shows up like, all right, let's get this party started.
Yeah, because with Dad Time, I usually get in on the sales. So like a first-person shooter that's online, they're already kind of on the decline. So I remember I was big into Battlefield 4, and it had been out quite a while, and they had already announced Battlefield 5, possibly even Battlefield 1 at that point. And I got it for, $10. I jumped in, and I was having a great time. And then slowly it started becoming even harder to find the games with the right maps, and people weren't filling up the slots as quickly. So I jumped in at the wrong time. It was already on the downward spiral, and I kind of wrote it out as long as I could before it started becoming a little bit ridiculous. So I can see myself. I've done that a couple times, and it's mainly with shooters. I don't know what it is. Titanfall 2, that's another one. Jumped on that one. It was a sinking ship.
Yeah, didn't you just buy Battlefront 2?
Yeah, so that's another sinking ship.
Trend continues.
I think it's just a pattern with how I approach games. I want a sale, but then I don't think of, hey, what's the quality of the multiplayer that I'm getting into? So, if you count those.
Now, did you, at that time, like, did you participate in any of the community? Like, so were you kind of seeing online forums or posts online that was talking about, oh, here we go, like, head downhill, I can't get any games? Or were you very much focused on just the game and playing?
No, I was in the forums just to just as some research and recon, just to see if I was in a dying game. And then there's a lot of people that help out people that get into a game that's like that, and they form, like, if you're having trouble finding people, most people will give out their gamer tags so that you can find them, which is awesome to hear from that kind of community. So participating that way.
Please add me and play with me.
Yeah, I know. Please, I need more friends.
I'm so alone.
Yeah, I can't commit to anything if you're just on at 11 o'clock at night for like 10 minutes until my kid cries. This is good. But no, it's been like a good community that way, at least in the communities I've been in, that you kind of go online and you know that the game's kind of going to its grave, and people will start to help you out, at least some of the people out there. And then it just kind of ends, and as long as the company doesn't cut off the servers, it'll go for a while. So you can be out there all alone in the map, or hopefully with some friends.
Like, that was kind of interesting with World of Warcraft, where as far as I understand the story, there was a community that maintained all these servers for what they called like vanilla. So it's like, it was like the first World of Warcraft experience. And somehow people had maintained these servers just personally, like no support from Blizzard or anything. Right. So that people could log on and play old school, very, first releases of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, that's great.
And as I understood it, though, I think at the beginning it actually got shut down.
Oh no!
Yeah, to some decries, but I think like the kind of happy ending to it is I think they Blizzard came out with a version of what they call vanilla that you could subscribe to. Oh, so it's in a sense, it's so kind of a victory. It's like, we hear you, in that you want the basic experience. We can't let you run our IP on private servers, right? But if you want to pay for this, like, you can. Now play with it. So that
that's kind of neat.
Kind of a victory. Like, it's...
Yeah.
I have a hard time really being too angry about that, because they're kind of right. Like, you can't take a copy of their game
and you can't really do your own thing with it. So it's nice that they're listening. Yeah. Well, so...
Yeah, so the reason that's at top of mind for myself is... and as I alluded to at the stinger there at the beginning, is, and this isn't to, I will make no proclamations or like read the tea leaves to say, oh, Hearthstone is going to die or it's on the decline. Yeah. What I've found surprising is there's been a lot of fervor lately about it, where some of the top streamers are starting to abandon ship. Some of the pro players are kind of leaving to go see other things. And this is all, it's at a very interesting time, because Valve is releasing a card game, right? Artifact, which has a huge amount of buzz. It looks ridiculously complicated. like MOBAs with all the lanes and the heroes and everything.
Yes,
it's like that, but a card play, a game.
Oh, jeez.
I was trying to watch some videos for it. It's like, this seems so complicated.
Yeah. Okay.
But people are digging it. Like, a lot of these streamers for Hearthstone were given early access to it, so they can kind of get in.
Yeah, okay.
So they're starting to play it. At the same time, Magic, so Wizards of the Coast, have released a new product into beta, Magic the Gathering Arena.
Right.
And again, this is another thing where a bunch of the streamers like all hopped over. It's like, this is a lot more fun. Like, I'm really liking this, right?
Wow.
And I myself, like, I gave it a shot. It's a blast. It is awesome. It feels really great. And I'm I used to play the card game back in high school.
Yeah.
So to go kind of back and like play the old nostalgia style, like the exact game you were playing like during lunches type of thing. It's got some appeal to it, and it's much like Hearthstone. It can be free to play, so it's not upfront cost. Artifact actually is bucking the trend. They charge for their product, I think like $20 or $30.
Okay, to get in.
Yeah, but between all, so you get into this weird space. So here's this game that I think for the entire length of our show, I've espoused as this great dad game. Like I've had great times with Hearthstone.
Yep.
Just an absolute blast. And then you start to hear some rumblings. It's like,
yeah,
it draws up some interesting feelings. Like it's like I've been into this game and I've played a bunch. I have my little collection, and to hear that there could be trouble brewing. Oh no. Oh my.
Well, especially with a game like that where you've kind of built up your foundation of how you play with like collectible cards and stuff. And now these streamers with a lot of influence can jump ship and kind of shift the whole gaming base over to a new game that either they've been paid for or show a lot more interest in, which is interesting to me now too, because a lot of the promotion is through those streamers. So if you have a popular guy switch over, you're like, well, okay, well maybe I need to try it, and then you get hooked, and then there goes your community.
And that was one of the weirdest ones, and that's where even like my consumption of games has changed so much over the years, or especially recently. There's one streamer in particular, Day 9.
Yep.
Plays Hearthstone. It's one of the most joyous experience to watch him play. Like it is fabulous. Right, like it's just so much fun to watch him play. And one day during what would have been a Hearthstone stream, he just says, "It's like, I really don't want to play this right now." He just stops. He says, like, "Yeah, I just really don't want to play Hearthstone right now." Wow. He just switches to an entirely different game, Spire, Slay the Spire, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
It's like a card battling game. Looks pretty sweet. Looks pretty fun. He had a fantastic time with it, but all of his Hearthstone slots changed to that.
Yeah,
and it was kind of funny too, because he actually he was on a commercial for the release of Magic the Gathering, this new card game with who's the star of the movie Machete, the older really grizzled looking guy.
Oh,
he was Tortoise or Tortuga in Breaking Bad. Don
Johnson.
No, goodness no. Danny
Trejo.
Yeah. So
that guy. He always plays the bad guy. Yep.
Yeah. So he's in that too as his roommate. The two of them are playing the game, and it was just all funny type of series of events. But to watch this game streamer who I've gotten such great joy watching him play, one of my favorite streamers to watch, and he's just straight up says, "I'm not having fun. I don't want to play this game anymore." At least like right now. And there's another huge streamer at Sav J or something like that, Sav J on the Hearthstone side. And there's this clip where he just said, for my mental health, like I just don't like playing this thing right now. Like I can't sit here and play this game for like 6 hours a day because I don't like it. And he in fact had switched over to this Magic game. So more than just, it's kind of like in the classic sense, we used to try to log on to an online game, like with your experience with Battlefront or Battlefield.
Yeah.
And there would just be no people. Like it would just die. Now it's almost like propelled because of all these personalities that you're watching that say in forums that say like, this is dying. I don't want to play this anymore.
Yeah. It's and like just kind of considering their gaming is, you play a game so much that you need to move on. And that's when everyone kind of says the same thing at the same time, and people leave, and whole communities leave, and clans leave, and usually sequels in the works, and it splinters pretty quickly. And then you are left with nothing, and you tell your kids about this awesome game that has no players in it.
This ghost town used to be such a lively, amazing place.
By the time I get great at Fortnite, it will be the thing of the past, and people will be laughing at me.
Well, I got number 1 finally in Fortnite. I mean, it's because I'm the only person on the map.
Exactly.
But
I'll take it. A win's
still
a win.
counts. But that actually segues perfectly into the Gaming Dad Victory of the Week. So this week's Gaming Dad Victory of the Week is very much on topic for games that have faded away. And yet this is such a classic multiplayer game that it may never die. Especially if we have excellent gaming dads introducing their 6 and 3-year-olds to it. And such is the story of gaming dad Malledd. Jeff, why don't you walk us through what we're looking at?
Well, it's a screenshot, 3 players, a dad, and his sons playing Blood Gulch in Halo. Which that brings back nostalgia. I remember playing the first one to death. I unfortunately never got into the subsequent sequels, but the first one, Blood Gulch, for sure.
You didn't need to. You played the apex of the series. Blood Gulch, to this day, I think remains one of the all-time greatest multiplayer maps and experiences out there.
For sure.
So refined, so much fun. Like, and there's something so perfectly tuned about that map, as far as like the 2 bases on either ends, the vehicles you can get, a few of the secret passages, like it. Oh, and Halo nailed it, especially at that time. Yep. It was such a phenom. It was so far ahead of everything else, and the feeling of the guns, and the combat. Like, there's you could play that, I think, for the next 20 years and still come away with great experiences.
Oh, it was fantastic. I still remember jumping on a warthog and like people would get run over accidentally trying to get on, or like flung off by a grenade that went off, or whatever it was. And really, there's nothing really to the map. Like, again, it's an open field. There's a couple other ways to get to the other base, but man, there was something about it that just kind of hooked you. And to see like another dad introduce the next gen of kids into something like this, it brings all those memories back, and now I need to go play Halo again. Yeah. Or find a way to.
And if nothing else, like being able to introduce kids to it so that you finally have some willing participants to play it with you all night again.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, at least up to their bedtime, whatever time that would be. But man, and if they bring their friends over, and then ideally you can be so much better than them.
Right,
teach them some lessons about the old school. You think Fortnite's great? Let me show where real men cut their teeth in Blood Gulch. Absolutely fabulous, and I think as long as gaming dads continue to introduce it and pass it down the line, that is very much a multiplayer experience that would never die.
For sure.
So for keeping the classics alive and triggering nostalgia effect for any gaming dad out there, gaming dad Malledd has won Gaming Dad Victory of the Week. Congratulations.
Congrats.
If you'd like to be nominated for Gaming Dad Victory of the Week or know somebody else deserving, please send along your story to us at newdadgaming.com.
And new dads, listen up as we go over this week's highlights of what happened in the world of gaming. Unless you've been living under a rock this past week, you've probably already seen Rockstar launch its next gameplay video of Red Dead Redemption 2. This video showcases the glorious detail the company has put into this game, along with the multiple ways the story can be affected and played, including everything from bar fights to train robberies to hunting, even to fishing. So everything will come together later this month when it launches for all consoles, including streaming on the Switch, October 25th. Dads, prepare to block out some time for this one. And will there be a Minecraft 2? Well, the head of the studio doesn't seem to think so. Good news for dads. They are content with the game as is, but experimenting with expansions like the recent Minecraft Dungeons. The thought is that Minecraft 2 would fracture the player base quite significantly, and with such a unique and creative game in their hands, it just wouldn't make sense in the long run. The proof is in the pudding, though, as currently Minecraft boasts more active players than the popular Fortnite, with over 90 million monthly players logging in. Kudos to them. And the writer of the popular books that inspired the Witcher series is asking for more money. That's right, Andrzej Sapkowski is suing CG Projekt Red for $16 million US, citing Polish copyright laws for infringement on his rights of the original work of The Witcher. What should be noticed is the writer was offered a royalty up front in the beginning, but he refused, saying that this Witcher video game series won't make any money, and he just wanted a lump sum of around $9,500 up front. Let that be a lesson to anybody looking at short-term decisions over the long-run potential. CD Projekt Red has stated that the pending lawsuit is baseless and the original agreement is already fulfilled, but is open for some renegotiation in some good faith. Maybe the case could be decided in a game of Gwent. And want to beta test Fallout 76? Well, the only way to get in is if you've pre-ordered the game. And then the beta stress test starts October 23rd for the Xbox One and October 30th for the PS4 and PC. The beta weighs in at about 45 gigs and will be completely online, a multiplayer experience for this Fallout world. Players can expect to test the full experience, but with the usual quirks that will happen in this phase of development, and it's also a Bethesda game. The full game is slated for a release this November 14th actually, and it will be interesting if there's crossplay between Sony and Xbox, considering that the latest Fortnite fiasco kind of turned out well for both consoles. We'll know more about when the beta launches later this month, and we'll keep it locked here for any more info. Ever wanted to see Solid Snake in real life? Well, now's your chance. In Tokyo, Japan, there's an escape room that is built after the Metal Gear series. You assume the role of Solid Snake and infiltrate the enemy base Shadow Moses, either solo or with friends, and verbal instructions are given you via codec, where you must make your way around the room without alerting any real-life guards. If you happen to make your trip overseas to Japan, the experience will only set you back $30 US, with an option to have instructions in English and no requirement to watch any super extended Kojima cutscenes. For game releases this week, some highlights include Assassin's Creed Odyssey for the PS4, Xbox One, and streaming for the Switch in Japan, Mega Man 11 for all consoles, Fist of the North Star for PS4, Astrobot VR for the PSVR, WWE 2K19 for PS4 and Xbox One, and Super Mario Party launches for the Switch. That's it for the gaming news this week. Catch a nap and tune in next week for another update.
So how excited are you for Red Dead Redemption 2 after the latest trailer?
You know, it's becoming almost daunting.
Yeah, you don't have time for it, but I mean, you really sure would like to.
I would like to experience everything they put out in that video, but I know I'm going to have to stay on course because this game will probably eat up your life with the amount of options.
Did I hear right that it's available for the Switch?
It's streaming in the, no, not for Red Dead. They were looking at the streaming portion of it, but that's probably not going to happen. Now that would be ideal.
Yeah, because then in that case, that's a home run. You could just carry it around wherever you need to.
Oh, for sure. That would be something that would eat my life even more. So,
yeah, man, that is such a non-dad game. It seems like, I suppose it depends on how you look on it. If that's going to be your game of 2019, this is the game that I will play.
Yes.
Fine.
Very much so. Oh, yes.
So your 30-minute little increments, you could just kind of chip away and get an A-bar fight, get bit by a snake, and wrap it up for the night.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm down for it. I kind of want to do it, and I'm interested to see what experiences I get out of it because, again, as I said, it's just a tremendous game, and there's a lot of detail in there that I probably won't experience, unfortunately. It's not the same gaming time, but
yeah, it kind of seems like they've done it right. I mean, there's a lot of fears with the whole online piece, before it launched, but it kind of seems that there's just a whole lot of depth and interesting gameplay, and it doesn't seem like online's gonna, or like the microtransactions are really gonna affect it that much.
No, I don't think so. I think it'll probably take the same course as Grand Theft Auto 5, where like their online thing was a totally separate kind of entity, and it had its own like heists and stuff. Maybe that's what this is, just in the Wild West. So
nice. Indeed. Did you see the reviews for Astrobot VR?
I did.
Just through the first 10 out of 10 that's ever been received. Like it just, people are exploding over this thing.
Yeah, they said VR has hit its stride with this one.
Yeah.
So that is encouraging.
I heard one calling it the Mario Kart 64
that is
VR.
Nuts. That is high praise, if anything.
Let's tone it down a little bit and listen.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, the media attention on it has been wild to watch. Like it's not just kind of subdued of like, this is a great title. It's like, this is the type of title that could blow it out. And of course, me being a massive fan of Moss and that type of gameplay as far as platformer inside of VR.
Yep.
I'm terribly curious about it. Now, I'm on a gaming backlog hiatus from buying games, but
so you say.
Yeah, so I say. I beat Creed, if that counts.
Oh, there you go. Now you have room for one more. Maybe Astrobot can fill that void.
You really don't.
It's only $49 Canadian, so you might want to jump on. The only knock against it, I will say, when I was reading reviews, is they don't have the multiplayer. So I used to play Couch Co-op with my son, who could control like another little guy in there on the TV screen, and that could be in the VR. So I hope they kind of patch that in. Maybe that's coming, or maybe the person reviewing just didn't get to that point or didn't try it out. But I'm hoping
or just even a mode. If they could add like a mode, where two people can join, it'd be a lot more joyous if they could pull that off. I do hope they bring it in.
Yeah. So otherwise, it looks great.
Yeah, I think it could be a. I don't like using the term system seller. Like, it's just a little bit. This game will prompt people to spend, $400 on a VR set. It's a bit of hyperbole, but
yeah. Well, and that's what they need, right? They need to package this and sell it and get people buying VR again.
Yeah, this Super Hot in VR or Creed.
Yep.
As part of a whole bundle. And I think the latest bundle I did see was the PSVR, Super Hot, and Creed.
Yes, they do have that one, yep. And then you can even go with the Firewall one if you're a first-person shooter guy. But
okay.
They got a few bundles, yeah.
Yeah, that was also a really great experience, too. So, okay. We're getting there. Let's just hope.
I'm happy with it. I encourage everyone to go at least try it out. That's the problem, is you can't sell this experience on the screen. Even watching Astrobot on the screen, it does not do it justice. You need to be in there.
Yeah. Geez, do they have a demo?
Pardon?
Do they have a demo that you know of?
I don't know. I hope they do. I might look online tonight because it launched today. So if they don't, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be a bit of a shame. Hopefully they do, because it sounds like that'd be a real benefit to it. But I mean, this episode's been about games that have slowly faded away, and let's just hope PSVR is not.
It's not. It's here to stay.
We'll see. Suppose time will tell, but we'll do our best to keep it alive and active.
That's right.
So stay locked for more PSVR talk, and that will bring us to the end of the show. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on our website, newdadgaming.com. You can also find us on all the social networks. Join our Facebook group, reach out to us on Twitter, or send us an email or a note. If you'd like to be considered for the New Dad Gaming Victory of the Week, same channels, send along your story. Would love to feature you and your little ones playing games. If you'd like to subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and anywhere else you find your podcasts. We would absolutely love a subscription, a comment, and a pass along to any dad who games. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
All right, see you next week.
See you later.